Hey everyone, Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler, and we're going to have another video today on the top 10 things sold in November here on eBay. Once again, I'm Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler. Definitely go and click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications. We do these videos about once a month. We go over the top 10 things that I sold in the month of November 2018. So let's get right into it. We're going to go basically over every single item, talk about a little bit of history, if there's anything behind the item, what I paid for it, and what it sold for. So first up, we have these Stan Lee Pops, Funko Pops. I had a bunch of these. I bought a bunch of these maybe a couple years ago. I was going to do some customs with the Stan Lee heads. I ended up never doing the customs. These were put away during his passing. I decided to pull these out and just list them to get rid of the old stock that I had, and surprisingly, these went up, 2, 3, 4 times in value. I want to say I paid like $15 each for these a couple years ago. I sold a couple of them for about $79.99. Another one later that week, maybe for $65. I took a best offer. Some of the boxes were a little dinged on a couple of them, and those sold for lower value, and so pretty much sold them all. And this month never didn't sell anything over $100, so there's that. So definitely check out some Funko Pops, especially if you have them put away in storage. Pull them out. Sometimes they become vaulted, which means they're retired. Funko has recently, over the past couple of years, unvaulted certain figures, and so they change up the packaging a little bit. So sometimes the older ones can still be worth a little bit more money, but just be aware that some pops that you put away become retired and vaulted and become very sought after. And my kind of rule of thumb is when I buy pops, I kind of buy the ones that I like. I have a pretty good track record of knowing, thinking okay, I think they're going to vault this at some point. Licensing has something to do with that, and that's a whole other video in itself. And so my kind of train of thought is I'll buy some pops, I put them in storage for a couple years, 2 or 3 years. I know that sounds a little crazy, and then you pull them out 3 years later, and for the most part, they've double, triple in value for the ones that are vaulted. Like I said, I could probably do a whole another video on just the whole buying and selling of Funko Pops. The industry has changed over the last couple years, where stuff that comes out now doesn't really have great resale value like it did 5 years ago. To be honest, I think the market is completely saturated. You can find Funko Pops at the 99-cent store, which has been going on for the last couple years. When I first started to see them at the 99-cent store, I knew that it was just a moment of time before these started to fall off. But Funko Pops are still very popular. eBay supports them. You can always see in their trending lists that Funko Pops are always there, especially exclusive ones and Comic-Con ones, etc., etc. Next up, we have this loose Final Fantasy figure. I think I paid about $4 or $5 for this. It was during an animation event at a local thrift shop. I saw that the ones of this one, if it was brand new in the package, go for about $200. So I snagged this up. It was a mint condition figure, complete. All it had was this little staff thing. And I had this for $99 for maybe a few weeks, but someone gave me a best offer for $59.99, and I took it. And so yeah, this was something that I didn't even realize that these figures were worth a lot, but now I know. So anytime I see Final Fantasy figures in this specific figure style and packaging, I know exactly what it is, and I will be picking these up, especially if I can find them mint in package. So this was actually a really good pickup. Next up, we have these 1970s Anneliese Christmas Rudolph and Santa. This actually would have been cool to have for Christmas decorations, but this was shipped. I found this at a local Goodwill maybe in the summertime. I want to say I paid like $3 for both of these figures. Together, they were on sale up front. It was just like, it was summertime, so no one was thinking about Christmas stuff. But I know Anneliese, they have a very unique style to them. These ones happen to be large ones. It seems to me that the larger they are, the more money they go to. And it was funny because they have like metal wiring in them so they can bend and things like that. And they had the Santa wrapped around the Rudolph, but these are actually two separate pieces, and somehow they must have thought it was together in one piece. So it was like $6, half off, $3. I knew exactly what these were. These were in amazing condition, no staining. Another thing that these are like kind of plush, and so over the years they kind of get grimy and dusty and they stain very easily, but these are pretty much in mint condition. They had a little bit of shelf wear, but they were in amazing condition. And for those that don't know, Anneliese, this is what the tags look like. Let's get a larger view of this. As you can see, the second date is going to be, so the first date is the first issue of this particular style. The second date is going to be when they reissued them. This was 1982. Let's see if I did, the Rudolph was the original one from 1978. Let's see if I can actually, I don't think I took a photo of the front tag so you can see what the Anneliese tag looks like. You can see what the, there was a little bit of staining on Santa, and I definitely put that into thing. Well, anyways, this sold for $62.99 plus $29.99 shipping because these things were large and they needed to ship in a large box. I think this might have went priority, and it probably was more than $30, but anyways, that's another good pro tip is to, if you're ever selling larger things, to make sure that your shipping is locked down, because you don't want to charge like $13.99 shipping and it costs like $30 to ship, especially if it's a large bulkier item. And also another pro tip is if you do have large bulkier items, UPS or FedEx is definitely the better way, more economically sound way of shipping your items, especially if they're larger and bulkier. Next up, we have this 1977 Topps Vintage Series 4 Star Wars complete set with stickers. This was purchased for $2 at a local thrift shop. They were in a baggie, and I thought they were just random cards, random Star Wars cards, vintage random Star Wars cards in a baggie for $2. I bought them instantly, just for the sake of just looking at them and checking them out. I knew that they were not going to be worth the super amount, but to my surprise, when I went home, not only was it the complete set and the stickers, which by the way, the stickers were in amazing condition. Like some of these probably would have graded really well if I would have sent them in for grading. But they had the C3PO X-rated variation error card, which is probably one of the top 3 error cards ever produced. And as you can see here, you can definitely see the difference here. I did research on these actually when I bought it, and the matter of fact that the corrected version over here to the right is rarer than the X-rated error version, but for, you know, shits and giggles, this one is very popular. If you can find a mint condition one of the error card, they go for about $60 to $80. And if you do find one that's amazingly in like mint condition and its centering is good, definitely send it into grading. Those can go for $200 or $300 if they're in jet mint condition, or even more. So anyways, this was actually a really good pickup. This is one of those things where it just had a gut feeling for $2, took a gamble just to look at the cards, and ended up being more than I thought that they were. Next up, we have this 2015 Kickstarter Get Some game. This is actually like a adult party drinking game. It's a card game. My buddy actually developed this game, and he has like tons of these in a warehouse. And so I said, hey, why don't you send them over, a couple of them over. I'll put them on eBay, and we'll see if these will sell. Anyways, we sold one of them the other day, and it's actually a really interesting game. I don't want to get into the premise of a game. It is definitely over 18, so there is that. And just to touch upon this is some Kickstarter games go for a crazy amount of money. Just go and search Kickstarter and go solds and then go highest, and there's a rabbit hole to go running down for sure. So honestly, if you're interested in this game, just go Get Some Kickstarter, search eBay, you'll find my listing, and definitely pick it up if you're looking for if you're into board games and you're looking for just a out there game that no one has. Next up, we have this Hallmark Three Stooges set. This was purchased. I bought a huge collection of Hallmark ornaments in the summertime from a lady. They were $40 for just a huge box, so they pretty much broke down to about $1 each or less. This was sold on a 50% off sale, $29.99 plus $17.99 shipping. These actually fit like perfectly in a large priority box, so there was that. Definitely look out for Hallmark stuff. Not all Hallmark stuff is going to be worth anything, but there's some certain ones that are actually go for over $100. Do your research. Lastly, here we got this NOS Shop Vac paper filters. It says it fits all Shop Vac wet dry vacuums. This was bought at a local thrift shop. They were like 25 cents each. They were sealed. I looked these up real quick. They were selling for like, $14, $15 each. Purchased these, sold them for $11.99 plus free shipping. A couple of them sold on a half off sale, but for 25 cents, I think like I made over $50 with these things, and I think there was 6 of them total, which was actually really cool. So if you're ever at a thrift shop and you find anything that's sealed, filters, any kind of filters, like water filters, air filters, definitely look them up because some of these are even hard to find brand new sealed because of stuff that was made like 20 years ago. People are looking for replacement parts and pieces and things like that. So there's that. Once again, I'm Reseller. If you like this video, definitely click the like button. If you have any comments, leave them in the comments below. Please subscribe and click the bell for notifications, and we will see you next time. Take care.